So HomeHak is a business we founded in Cork. Effectively, what we do is we flip the model of renting a home. And instead of the conventional process of 30 years where a home is pictures are taken, a story is done, and it's posted on a property website. There are 10,000 property websites around the world. We flipped that model. And so we display the people who need the home. And so instead of posting the property for rent, and then thousands of people see every single property and hundreds apply, we flip the model. And so the home can advertise on a property website, but at the same time, you can just see who works across the street or down the road. Maybe the individual ideal for that house can just apply or can be selected for that home. And so we are busy every day organizing people so that they are, if you like, rent ready, that they have everything in place to make them attractive as individuals. And the challenge for us, people care about data. And so we're very busy, not just organizing their data to make them attractive as would be tenants, but at the same time, we're doing it in such a way as to carefully curate their data, organize it, store it, and help them then present it in a tenant CV, a HomeHak tenant CV, a bit like if you imagine a LinkedIn profile. But the challenge for us from a data perspective is that that's really sensitive data. There's a lot of it. And so we have to keep it in thoughts, nail it down tight, and vouch that we can help them protect it.
How exactly is using AI in your business? Like, how do you use AI? How did you get it up and running? How has AI been integrated into your business?
That's a very welcome question because it's so recent. And we started working with Verodat only a couple of months ago, and we already have, I think, 5 use cases up and running. And they're very different use cases. But I'll go right back in that I'm an advocate of an article that was written in 1990 about don't automate, obliterate. And it's about reimagining process. And we're very much about reimagining the home renting process. And so instead of looking at the same process of renting a house I described earlier on, from the property perspective, we completely reimagined it. And so we worked from the individual person, the individual's perspective, and moved forward. And so in doing that, it's a bit like Netflix gives you an individual personalized recommendation based on your viewing of programs on their platform, or Spotify, the same thing. It's a personalized recommendation. So we established a method of collecting up what individuals like, or what they need, or what they want in their home. And so we started there. That generates a lot of data, but not just data, it's very personal data. Data protection, data privacy is very, very important. And that was one of our key. It's something we solve for in that we help protect the data better than the conventional process, where essentially you park your own data privacy concerns and you just send in all the data house after house after house, because people tend to think if they use their data as leverage to get in front of the other person who's trying to apply for a house. So we collect a lot of data and we try and keep it very protected because it is personal to those individuals. So we got to that position and we looked at all that data and thought, right, now we need to double down on making the solution more personal. And that's where we think, okay, we personally speak to a lot of our members, and we also speak to letting agents. We speak to some landlords and homeowners who want to rent a room, but that's not scalable. And so we generate a lot of data. We want to keep that personal touch. So how do we do it? And we don't want to automate, and we certainly don't want to automate based on the last 30 years of the conventional process. So all of that came together in the mix and thought, right, let's just look at AI here. And like a lot of people, we dived into the market and find somebody who is strong in AI and who could build AI. And after a while, we got close on 2 or 3 companies that could build us a model or could take a model and apply it to our data. But I started to realize there are an awful lot of companies out there, and there's any number of data engineers, and they all very happy to sit down and model whatever you want and give you any sort of AI tool. But we had still had the challenge that we cannot share our users' data with an open source or an open AI. we don't have that permission, and actually it goes against it, counter to what we do. So we had to have an on-premise solution, a native, just local to us. So we had to lift and shift the models, bring them in-house and put them inside our mold, and then we could start to work on it. And this led us along to, we had got very close then to one player that could do the on-premise, and I was eating my porridge at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 6:30 it was. And then Thomas was on the radio talking about, it's all about the data and AI ready data. And it just clicked with me, because what we were doing was looking at the AI and looking at the outcome we wanted, but we were going to spend an awful lot of time in-house organizing our own data to fit the developers. And developers generally aren't interested in the data you're going to shove into the model. They want to build a model and they want to work on the model. That's where it just clicked when I heard Thomas talking about that from a Verodat perspective, and an expression I've used quite a bit with Verodat, but the garbage in, garbage out. That resonates for me from different experiences over 30 years of business. You can buy in a great tool, a great model, but if you're going to shove a lot of garbage in there, you're just going to choke it. And so we needed to just reverse back a little bit, organize the data properly, refine it, or understand what we have. Also, understand the key constraint that we have, that we need, one of our services for our members is that we're going to help them keep that data safe and give them autonomy over their own data, which is a USP in the home renting space. And so then we engaged with Verodat. We had a really good experience in that. We had such a good experience. Sorry, I'm going to have to say it. We put out our requirements, our use case. Verodat enhanced them. And therefore, we ended up putting the phone down one day and saying, you know what, that girl, she keeps on improving whatever we come up with. And so we called our model Ella. So our AI tool, it's called after Ella Copeland there. It's because we knew the outcome that we wanted. We're getting the outcome, but we've improved the process to getting there because of what the team are doing to organize our data and, if you like, organize the interaction with our data and the models. But then the output, it's better than we expected, actually. And so we're raising with other use cases. We started with 3. One of the use cases that a lot of our members are home seekers. We help them prepare a wonderful tenant CV. It makes them attractive when somebody has a home and letting agent or whatever, and they come in to see, I wonder, is there anybody on HomeHak that would suit the property I have that I'm about to rent? So I have a wonderful tenant CV, but cover letter isn't great. So one of our use cases was to say, hold on, have a look at all the data that you've just put into your tenant CV, and also look at the property you're applying for. It pulls the two together and it generates a lovely paragraph that then they put in when they're applying for a property. And so it helps to demonstrate why this property might suit my needs, but also here's a nice little summary that will catch your attention and get me selected. And we've 4 other use cases like that.
Yeah. I think, Pat, I think it's probably fair to say once you kind of shifted your focus to the data piece, the eyesight of this wasn't really the complicated piece, really. Once you got the data in place, we kind of started to kind of see other opportunities beyond that. If we look at a story from an AI tool to data story, I would have characterized it in that you had on the AI tool front said, hey, I'm going to go down a couple of guys to help me here, figure out how to do this piece, and very much the tool piece. But when you shifted your focus to the data piece, it actually it kind of illustrated to you that AI has really come on an awful lot. And if you give it the right data, it makes, it does what it does, and it's not that hard to configure. But actually, it's crazy town if you're not controlling the data that goes to us. And I think your story in terms of utility, and even from, the first couple of use cases to now to 5, to be fair, that's kind of the story we're seeing with clients in general. There's a little bit of okay, and look at the data best, the penny drops. And then there's actually a whole other way of doing things that starts to get opened up. Is that kind of fair from your perspective? Kind of your ideation now compared to 2 months ago has changed significantly?
It has significantly in that we had to reconcile ourselves that it was possible to keep our users' data safe. That was very important. You guys materialized that. You made it on premise. It was really useful that you remember one of our issues is that If we were going to work on the data with you guys, then we were going to have to share it with an AI developer or an AI business. And we'd have two parties. So it was a real help for us that you were able to actually materialize our whole need. So you help us with the data, but you also help us with the AI tools and that. But also that you took the time to envision our outcomes that we were looking to deliver. We're not done by a long stretch in terms of the use cases, which accelerating, because we're learning also from our end users. We have to do a great job using the AI and the models to represent that, to digest it, and all of that. But it doesn't stop there, obviously, because they have other needs when it comes to the home. But then we're a marketplace, and so the party I described already about who owns the data, that's very important. But also we're thinking now about the interrogator of the data, the letting agent who comes along, the homeowner with the room, So we have those use cases that we're developing with your team.
Yeah, I think that, to be fair, right, the way you're going to scale your business is now different, right? And that, those key things that AI is able to do, which is that scaling of repetitive administrative tasks, the reliability that you get when you have the data in an AI-ready format allows you to do that in a trustworthy way. So even as you scale your business and organize your business now, I think it's materially different than it would have been, pre the AI era. I think that's kind of the message we're trying to get across a little bit to people is, hey, is this all hype? Is there materiality on cost, quality, time, kind of enhanced scalability in a business? And in reality, there absolutely is. We see it with our clients who are moving. And the second piece is this something actually I could do? I think it's fair to say that this is, we didn't take you out of your comfort zone. We probably just put you in a position where you understood what was happening and Verodat allowed you to do that. So that you could actually go, well, now I get this. This isn't a riddle. This isn't some magic. It's relatively straightforward. It's linear, what Verodat does for me, but also how it opens up a range of pieces.
I'll put it this way. I'm able to navigate it and I'm not tech, in that I'm able to work with the prompt. I know the outcome I'm looking for. The process between our data and our user and the outcome is what we've done. We've reimagined how we've done it. There are situations where we have real people on our team who are writing customized emails to individuals to try and improve their situation, to try and improve their story on their tenant CV. We now have a large proportion of those. Ella is able to take care of that. It's a bit like chatbot analogy. If the same problem keeps coming in and again, you can automate so that the chatbot deals with a large volume of the normal ones, and then your team are able to take care of the others. That's if like reacting to what's out there. We're doing it proactively, but we're able to scale that on a personalized basis because of the AI tool. And one point as well, there's the team at Verodat there, just in general terms, there's an awful lot of new players out in the industry, and they're all 5 minutes in the world. But it does help as well that you have a team that work hand in glove for the last 10 years and each know their own roles, but then work together. I'm saying, I know this is to Verodat's benefit, but it is an important point. It's not a collection of engineers that came out of school 5 minutes ago and they're all sort of piped up on AI. And where can we shove this new model? We have the answer. We want to shove it into the question sort of thing. But it does make a difference in that there's a nice symmetry there about everybody's role and everybody's part and everybody understanding the eventual outcome and the method of working. So that's actually an important part as well when you're going to find a partner.